In this video, I will demonstrate how to update configuration settings in an Intelligent Navigator APS, either an iN2 or iN3, over connection via Bluetooth. Once you've logged into the push-button station, you'll see on the left-hand side, if you're connected to an iN2, you'll notice an intersection and iCCU configuration tab. You can ignore those for now. If you're connected to an iN3, all you'll see is an iN3 with different settings on the left-hand side. In order to get to the configuration settings, simply click the Settings option on the left, and that brings you to the Configuration Settings page. At the top of this page, there's a Selection drop-down. This shows which button you're currently connected to. If you were within Bluetooth range of additional buttons, they would also show up in this drop-down, which would allow you to quickly change between buttons to update different configuration settings for other buttons. One of the differences between connecting to an iN2 or an iN3 is the ability to write to all. If you're connected to an iN2, this option is available, meaning that you can configure the configuration settings on a single button and then write those configuration settings to all buttons on the intersection. If we were connected to an iN3, this write to all button would not be available, but any button that was within Bluetooth range could be selected and configured using this drop-down. Directly below this is the Configuration Set drop-down. By default, the button uses Configuration Set 1 to select the settings that it uses to play at what volume and what sounds. If you're using the calendar feature, you would utilize Configuration Sets 1, 2, 3, and 4 to have different configuration sets that would change based on time of day when used with the calendar function. If you're not using the calendar, then the button is going to be using configurations that are set in Config Set 1. There are two different view options for the configuration settings page. The default option is what you see here, where different configurations are grouped into different categories such as audio volume settings, message settings, and additional settings. If you're used to the way the configurations were grouped with the eNav system, you can click the Toggle List View button, and that'll give you all of the exact same configurations in a list view. For this demonstration, we'll use the default view. When you first connect to the push-button station using this PC application, it automatically reads out the current configuration settings from the button and displays them on this page. If you made configuration changes and had not yet written those changes to the push-button station, and you want to see which settings are currently stored within the station itself, you simply click the Read button, and that reads out the current configuration settings from the button and displays them on the page. The first group of configuration settings you can change are the audio volume settings. All of these settings, with the exception of the information volume, have a minimum and a maximum setting. The minimum setting is the setting that the volume will decrease to based on ambient sensing from the microphone. In other words, if it's quiet outside, the minimum sets the minimum volume threshold that the unit will automatically adjust to in a quiet environment. On the opposite end is the maximum setting. This is the maximum volume that the button will automatically adjust to in a loud ambient setting. To make a change to a configuration value, you simply click and drag the slider, and you'll notice that the configuration value that's currently selected is displayed in a box to the right of that configuration. As I mentioned earlier, the locate tone volume, standard walk, and extended walk volume all have a minimum and maximum. The information message volume is a single value that dictates what volume that information message will play at. The group of settings directly below this is the volume over ambient settings. There's two separate settings available here. The volume over ambient adjusts all sounds except for the locate tone. There's a separate setting specifically for the locate tone that allows you to adjust volume above and below ambient. This is particularly useful in residential areas where you want to take the volume down to a very low level at night when there's very little ambient sound. You can adjust this volume over ambient setting for the locate tone to a threshold that's below 0, which will allow it to adjust to be very quiet. Directly below the volume over ambient settings are the locate tone settings. You can change the locate tone sound using this drop down, and change the repetition rate of the locate tone using this slider. A new feature of the Intelligent Navigator is the ability to adjust the button push force. There's 3 selections in this option, which are light, medium, and firm. In this selection, you can change the push confirmation message, information message, and the extended push time. The extended push time is the time required to push and hold the button in order to get the information message to play. Next, we have the clearance interval settings. Here you can change the clearance mode sound, the time in between playing of the clearance mode sound, and whether or not you want to activate cancel on clearance. Next are the walk interval settings. Here you're able to select which walk sound you want to play, walk sound pause, sound vibrate retrigger, sound vibrate timer, cancel on walk, walk sound trigger, and maximum walk time. After that are ping pong settings, which are simply turning on or off. You have a separate setting for the walk interval and the clearance interval. And lastly are other settings. These are settings that allow you to adjust how the wait message plays after the button is pushed, whether or not you want a direction message to play in addition to the information message, how to activate the second language, extended push priority, and external speaker options if those are available. At any point during selecting configurations, if you want to hear the particular sound play out of the push button station, you'll need to put the button into maintenance mode. To do that, you click this button at the top of the page to put the button into maintenance mode. When you do that, you'll notice that the play icons next to each sound become activated. To play that message through the button to hear how it sounds, you simply click the play button.
Wait to cross Maple Street at Broadway. Wait.
When you're done playing those sounds through the button, you want to put the button back into run mode by clicking the button at the top of the page. Once you've selected all the configuration changes you want to make, you need to write those configuration changes to the push button station. If it's an iN3 push button, the only option you will have is to click write to that particular push button station. If you're connected to an iN2 push button station, you can click write to all, and that will write the configuration settings to all push buttons on that intersection. If for some reason you've made changes that you want to change back to the default options, all you need to do is click the Open Defaults button, and that will change all of the configuration settings on the page back to default values. In order to actually save those to a push button station, you'll need to click one of the write buttons in order to actually upload those to the push button station. Another convenient feature is the ability to save preset configuration profiles and open those files to save on other push button stations. In order to do that, once you've selected all the configuration settings you want to set, click the File Save button and select a location on your computer where you can find this configuration file easily. In order to open that file, all you have to do is go to File Open, select the file that you saved previously, and open that file. And that will populate all of the configuration settings on this page. To write these files to a new button, then you simply have to click the Write button, or in the case of an iN2 push button station, if you want to write to the entire intersection, click Write to All. And that concludes the configuration tutorial.